Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Friday Reads Live with me and my good friend ShawnDStandfast. Sean, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Good? Man, a few words. Sean, well, we might as well jump right in. I don't know if anyone's watching yet, but we might as well start talking at least about our Friday reads or our weekly reads, and then we can invite people to mention their own and stuff in the comments. So, have you read much this week? I have to confess, personally, I haven't. I don't think I've finished anything this week. So, yeah, it's becoming a bit repetitive, as you know, because of one of the books that you're probably going to mention having finished. But for me, I think for the last since the beginning of the year, it's been on every Friday reads. So.
Yeah, Les Miserables. I finished that on the last day, 10 minutes before midnight, the last day of January. Literally 10 minutes before midnight. And I still got my bookmark in the notes. Because these notes are kind of weird because the footnotes are all at the bottom, and then this stuff I never knew where or what was being end noted. And it's like, so I started reading them after I read the chapter, and then I just left it. So I don't know.
This is definitely one of the advantages of reading on the Kindle. Or at
But
least reading on. I wasn't reading on the Kindle, I was reading on the iPad. However, what's nice is all of these footnotes, endnotes, everything alike, it's all highlighted within the text. So you just click it as you go and it pops up. So you can see everything. There's no, fiddling about, looking at down the page somewhere or going to the back looking at the notes. It all comes out at you on the place you're reading. So that is a benefit.
the thing is, with the end notes, they don't tell you there's an end note for that. It doesn't tell you in the text that there's an end note.
Does in the Kindle.
Yeah, but I'm saying in here it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's, and then because that's what I was thinking, that it was, instead of footnotes, there were end notes, but there were actually footnotes. So I don't know. These are just, I think, explanations of terms that if you might not know. But then how do you know? Like you can look up, okay, well, I don't know, understand that word. And you can be looking up every friggin' word.
So we've got a few people here. We'll just say hi. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Alan. Hi, Tim. Hi, everybody else who hasn't commented.
But yeah, I finished that. And it took me longer than I expected because I should have been finished it like 2 or 3 days before. But that's not bad with one eye.
With one eye, yeah. What was it, about a week?
Okay, I started it on the Sunday night before, so late Sunday night. I hardly read it, so won't even. Well, I guess you can count that. So 8 days, 8 days and an hour.
I mean, I've got terrible glare as usual. Hang on. You can see roughly how much I've got to go, but of course, a lot of that will be notes. So it's around 1,000. I don't know, 60 pages or something. So there's probably another 300 pages to go. So not too bad. I would have finished sooner, but I'm reading it with a couple of chums, and
you wouldn't got me into the Voxer group.
What was the point? You would have been there for 5 minutes. By the time you would have like literally had one thing you could have talked about. I mean, I can bring you in when we've all finished it and we can discuss it. But as I say, what is the point? You literally finished it before I even got around to saying, "Hey, Sean, you want to join in?" Yes.
Well, and also, okay, while you were still reading that, I read the Count of Monte Cristo in January as well. So there you go. But I had 2 eyes for that one.
Yes.
Well, no, I actually was. I finished it on one eye. Anyway.
I don't know. No, some of us have this crazy thing where we have to go out during the day, which takes up a good few hours of our reading time.
4-letter word that you do.
Yeah, that's right.
But I took the first off for reading, and I watched the 1934. Was released in 1934. Raymond Bernard's French version of Les Miserables. 3 films that were done they were released all at the same time. So if you wanted to buy at the cinema tickets, you could have in 1934 sat there and watched all three films, 4 hours and 40 minutes or whatever.
Is that all? Well, let's face it. What else was there to do in 1934?
Yeah, well, getting ready for 1939, I suppose.
Yes, Alan, we are talking it again, but don't worry, not too much. I mean, Sean's. You mentioned it in your wrap up, didn't you? I think.
Yeah, and I'm going to because I just did a specific one for Count of Monte Cristo, and somebody mentioned it was actually Freeman, if he shows up here, that I should do it as a book to film, and I might do this because this is fresh in my mind, but I'd like to rewatch the 1925 Henri Fesco, if that's the correct pronunciation. It's almost 6 hours, or it's over 6 hours, silent film.
1925.
1925, yeah.
Yeah, what's the? I mean, I heard it wasn't too bad for an English version. What's the Charles Lawton one like?
Yeah, I like that. Actually, I ordered. I had a couple pounds. I ordered a DVD, 2 DVDs for £2.35 new, with the Charles Lawton one, the Frederick March Charles Lawton, and then the Michael Rene one. I think that's could be the 50s. Those I liked. They're every version I've seen, and I haven't seen every single one. There's good points to them, and then where they fall down. There's areas that they fall down. The same as this one here. The Javert was amazing in here, and even the Jean Valjean was really good. The grandfather was quite good. He was.
I like the grandfather in the book. He cracks me up. You know, like the way she at least portrays him. You know, oh, he's off chasing a bit of skirt, and oh, what are you talking about? You're just an idiot, and all that kind of stuff. He's great. You know.
Well, like there's the scene where he gets the new maid, and he's holding his sort of his pishnase or whatever, and his sister's introducing them, and they're saying, "Oh, what's your name?" and all this turnaround, and he's going, "Yes, nice." It's just like he's 90 years old and he's a dirty old man.
Just check some of the comments quickly. You're looking chipper, Sean, according to Alan. I guess that's, I don't know. Is that Hussein or Hassan, one of my kids from school? Hello. Alan asks, what is work?
Yeah, we don't know what those things are.
Book Time with Ryan is with us. Hey, Ryan. And he's got a question here. How hard is it to get from London to Portsmouth? Is it a day trip or would that be rushed? Honestly, I would say these days, Ryan, it would be very rushed indeed. Probably you'd need to take a week, given the state of, the public transport and everything now, and the strikes and all that stuff. But I think, to be honest, it depends what you want to do there. If you're just after the Royal Naval Dockyards, I think you can do it in a day. I mean, it'd be a long day, but I don't think it'd be too rushed.
Yeah, because I think I'm assuming there should be a direct through train.
Yeah, there's the express.
Yeah,
from
don't try to take a coach, because that'll take forever. It's a milk run.
Well, our school they had there was a school trip to Belgium, and they flew there, but the only way they could get back was by bus because the return flights were terrible. So they set off yesterday, the day before yesterday. I think it was 5 p.m. So what was that? Wednesday. And they were supposed to arrive back in Prague at 7 a.m. Well, when they got to Nuremberg in Germany, there was a lot of snow, and some big lorry decided it was going to go where it shouldn't go. And of course, then it turned around in the snow, it jammed up the road. 7 hours. They were stuck on the motorway, not moving in Germany on the Autobahn. So they arrived back, I think, at least 12 hours later, back at school. Yeah. So, I mean, that's horrible. I mean, a bus journey is tough, at the best of times, but to have to sit there for 7 hours and not even move is pretty terrible. So, Super high Hussein. I wasn't sure. The name looked a bit different there. I recognize the first part. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we have a day off school today, so that's why he's saying nice holidays. So I hope he's enjoying it. Ryan asks how long the train is. I don't know. The express, I would say, I think it's 2 hours.
Yeah, it'd be about right, I guess. Yeah. And express, I don't think it's straight through. You do make a stop or two.
Yeah. It stops a couple of places. I mean, it's not an express on European standards, on mainland Europe standards. You know, like a TGV. I mean, I used to take that train to near where I lived, and I would say it was like 35 to 40 minutes, and then Portsmouth it was another hour or so from there. So I think you're looking at 2 hours to Portsmouth if you get the faster train. A slower one, yeah, it probably will be a bit more, but I think it will still be under 3 hours maybe, but I'm not sure. So yeah,
we left early in the morning. Look, I've gone from here to Bristol and back in a day.
Yeah,
you know, that's a pretty good slog, because it's I think I'd leave about 4:30 or 5 a.m. and I'd get in about 9 there, and then I come back 7 o'clock. I think I had my return. So it's
I mean,
you can do it.
The only thing Ryan's got to watch out for, I think, is just purely the cost. Because you want to leave early in the UK, you've got to pay. You pay more than if you leave after. I don't know if they still do it. I think they do. If you leave after 9, I think, because they up the fares for the commuters, right? So it's quite a big difference. And of course, you want to leave early because you want to spend the day there and then come back. So you'll have to investigate. But if price isn't an option, then certainly the distance isn't, I think, too bad to do in a day. I mean, England's not that big, really. It just seems big because of all the issues getting around it. But
I remember taking a bus from London to Bournemouth, and that took like 4 hours or something like that, because like it's literally the milk run.
Yeah,
it stops every place, along the way, and goes out of the way.
Well, it takes an hour just to get outside London.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, that reminds me. I took a coach from I think a bus from, I think it was what's the big station, coach station? Victoria, yeah. To what's the other What's the other airport? Not Heathrow, but the other big one.
Gatwick or Stansted?
Yeah, I think it was Gatwick. Is it Gatwick or No, it was Stansted. But anyway, and that's all within London, and that took like almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it's horrible. But it's very interesting. At least in Nuremberg, they could have shopped. Well, yeah, they couldn't. They were stuck on the autobahn, so they couldn't actually go anywhere. So Ryan's going for work. I thought he said see terrorist stuff, but he says tourist stuff there. But it's interesting. He's got Herman Melville's journal from 1850 and his time spent in London. So I guess that's what's inspiring you to check out stuff there. Because those who don't know, Ryan's a big fan of Melville's The White Whale.
I've never read the London bits. That could be interesting.
Could be. So going back then, I'll just say I've also been reading Les Mis. I'm not going to talk about it really, because I haven't progressed as much as I thought I would have done from last week, but that doesn't matter. I'm in no hurry. I'm really enjoying it. I have to say I have conflicted feelings though, Sean, because I want it to end, because I want to know what happens. However, I'm going to be really sad when it's over. I've really felt like I've been on a journey with all these people, and it's been a really, really amazing book.
As I said before, it's a wretched book.
I'm sure it is. Well, already I've lost, we've lost 2, where I'm up to now, two characters, sadly, in the early part of the barricade stuff. So, But
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil it for the. Well, I don't want to spoil it because I know it's one of these books. Apparently, a lot of people are reading this year. I think there's a reading of it going on in March. I think Sandy mentioned it. Was it Sandy from Misreads a Lot that there's some group read of it in March for March of the Mammoths. But I think this is the thing. Everybody complains about its size, but it's not. It's not a labor. It's not laborious, is it? It's you get lost in it. It pulls you in, and I just feel like I've been on an astounding journey. So I totally recommend it to anyone who.
Well, it's like I mentioned. Like I'm doing. There's I always get her name wrong. It's Story in a Teacup or something. Becky.
Teacup the Storyteller. Becky from Slovakia.
Yeah. She's doing read along of the Three Musketeers, and I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to read the first translation. But anyway, it was like we were just talking a little bit, and somebody was bemoaning the fact that all this stuff that Victor Hugo does in here, and it's like, just get to the story, and I'm going, no, because that's the like those digressions are important for the overall story. And like for me, the sewer part, it could have been 10 times as long and it would have been fabulous. There's areas that you just want more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a book that's got everything. It really does. I know when you said taking it to a desert island, and I think you said taking at least, was it 6 different translations?
Well, I had seven.
And I can kind of see that, because I imagine there'll be different things in all of them, really, depending on how someone's translated it. But also, it's got so many genres rolled into it. I mean, there's a bit of autobiography in there. There's history, of course. There's social history or sociology or whatever. There's all sorts of wonderful things. It's a fantastic book. It really is. But as I say, I think we should have like maybe some discussion. Maybe I'll see if I can get Summer or someone else, to come in as well, and we can all talk about it once it's all done. But it's wonderful. So what else? You have a think about what else while I just quickly go through the comments here.
Yeah,
Alan loves Amtrak. He hates Amazing Books Ending. Ryan, I guess you tried to share something maybe, but we can't see it. Just see, check this out. And then you say that by his daughter or someone, granddaughter maybe. I don't know. I've missed something there. We're missing something you've put there. Tim says he knows what I mean about getting backed up on the Autobahn. He was stationed in Germany from 85 to 92. Wonderful. It must have been really... it must have been a good time to be in Germany, actually, I suppose, near the end of the... you were there during the end of the partition? During the end of the... What do I want to say? Divided Germany? The reunification. Sorry?
The wall.
Yeah. I was just thinking the reunification there. So just finished Jane Harper's latest and loved it, according to Ryan. And he's asking where Tim was stationed. Cold War. Yeah, that reminds me, if anyone hasn't listened to Cold War Conversations podcast, it's wonderful. If you're interested in the Cold War, check it out. I don't receive any gratuity or anything for that. And Aaron's reread The Eagle Has Landed by Jack Higgins. Great stuff. Okay, Sean, over to you.
Yeah, no, I started reading this. It's the second of the Strangers and Brothers series called George. Well, it was originally called Strangers and Brothers, but it was renamed when the whole series was called Strangers and Brothers to George Passat.
So the book's original title ended up being the series title, so it changed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why. But yeah, so I'm a bit behind this because, as I say, I took not Monday. I took the first off reading, and I meant to start this yesterday, and I read like 10 pages last night, and I haven't got very far into it today yet. So I should be finished it tomorrow. And then you're reading this as well. Pliny the Younger. Yours is blue and mine's brown.
I don't know, mine's...
Doesn't that look different colors?
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, so we're just gonna read this sort of slowly throughout the month, a few letters a day. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting so far.
Yeah, I mean, just shows you couldn't get good help in those days, could you? Yeah, that is pretty good so far. Anything else? Well, that's been it for the week so far.
That's it for reading. Like next week, I'll be digging into Hornblower, the second Hornblower, probably on Sunday, I hope. And then what else? The second Dance to the Music of Time. I'm doing Paradise Lost with Alan and at Big Hard Books and Classics, and Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads, but I won't be starting that till the end of the week. And then somewhere in there, I might do the I might read the first translation of Three Musketeers.
So the vintage copy is the original translation.
There's two vintage copies. There's two vintage ones. This one is the first one because it doesn't say anything else, but apparently the first, it's an anonymous translation, and every single publication of it has differences because every publisher fiddles with it and does different things, apparently. But this doesn't say any translator, and it looks like it's the original translation. There is another one, and I can't remember who the translator is. Oh, it could be Hobson. I think it is Hobson. Could be the
Michael K. Vaughan mentioned it, I think, in his video. Was it today? I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah,
he was talking about the modern library version and how somebody messed up and what was it? Assigned the wrong dialogue to the wrong character or something, and they never changed it.
Yeah, the Leclerc translation. This is the one I read originally.
Leclerc. Sorry.
This is the Lord Sudley.
Did you watch that? Oh, sorry.
Lord Sudley translation.
Lord Sudley.
And then that might be all I've got here at the moment.
I've only got the Richard Pev.
Oh yeah, I've got that. I've got the ugly, very very ugly Penguin Deluxe Edition. It's horrible illustrations on it, but it's well made. And then I've got the one I want to read in August is what's his name's
Ellsworth.
Ellsworth's, yeah. So yeah, and I just thought I'd do that. When I do my read through of all 8 translations of this, it'll be chapter by chapter, sort of a chapter every week or a book every week or however it's called. That's in here.
I am pleased that you did judge that this is the best translation you've read so far, though.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I guess you're going on an all-round judgment there, though, rather than, there might be things in Denny that you think he does better for some certain things, but in terms of readability and whatever, you go for Donaher.
And this is the first English translation of it from 1862. This is the second edition, and all the parts that Hugo sort of disparages England, he changes it and makes it good.
Nice.
It's like they did the exact same thing with Verne. Everything that Verne had said something disparaging about England, they changed it.
Yeah, but I think, to be fair yes, that's right. Hello, Aaron. I thought you'd get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, a lot of what he says about England is true. So I can't. And he's quite fair about France as well. He's not like France is the greatest country in the world, and he knows it's got its problems too. So well, I have started Candide because unlike you, I probably wouldn't have the opportunity to just read it in a day. So we're reading the same edition of this as well, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I don't know where mine is at the moment.
Although I find the cover strange because I was looking at the cover, whoever did it. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that cover art, I have to say, but and unfortunately, it's not so clear on my camera. But it looks like there's electric pylons in the background, but apparently, this is a scene depicting or a picture depicting a scene from the book. So I'm not sure exactly what that's meant to be, but hey ho. And it's an odd read. I can't work out if I like it or not because it's it's very funny, but it's it's also very terrible. Like in terms
Well,
of
yeah. Have you got to the buttock steaks yet?
yeah, the woman with one buttock, and then she tells the story of how she only has one buttock. You know, yeah, it was very interesting. But I love the sex scenes in it. How he does it without being like totally obvious. He's like, I think it's even on the first. It was like the first page, pretty much. He gives a sex scene. Now, if you're of a sensitive disposition, you might not want to listen. But
Turn away, everybody. Turn away.
one day, as Cunegonde was taking a stroll near the castle in the little wood they referred to as their parkland, she caught a glimpse through the bushes of Dr. Pangloss giving a lesson in applied physiology to her mother's maid. A very pretty and very receptive little brunette. As Miss Cunegonde had quite a gift for science, she noted in breathless silence the repeated experiments to which she was witness. You know? And then later, when she has it away with Candide, it's like the next day after dinner, as they were leaving the table, Cunegonde and Candide found themselves behind a screen. Cunegonde dropped her handkerchief. Candide picked it up. Innocently, she took his hand. Innocently, the young man kissed the young lady's hand, and with quite singular vivacity, sensibility, and grace, their mouths met, their eyes shone, their knees trembled, their hands strayed. Brilliant. But I am liking it. It's odd. It's got I don't know whether I'm wondering if now I might be misremembering it because I read it a long time ago, and it's Paulo Coelho's Alchemist, and it just seems to me there's something similar to I'm guessing that of course about this because this is much older. But I wonder, yeah, maybe to what extent he was influenced in the writing of that. But this Pangloss was a bit of an idiot, wasn't he? Yeah. So
it's like it's a send up of all the popes and everything too, and
oh, it's
like,
so funny, yeah. I mean, the whole thing with the Grand Inquisitor and the Jewish guy, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to rereading it. It's quite a while since I've read it, and
First time for me. So I
didn't
have
know.
read. Sorry.
I didn't know what it was going to be when I read it first as well. It's like I think that's the best way is not knowing.
I have read Micromagus though, which is the second story in that collection. What I'm going to do is just read Candide, and then I might just like pick away at the rest of the stories as the month goes, because it was technically Candide that I have to read this month. So
not till not this coming week, the week after, I think.
Oh, I'll still be on it. Andy says, I'm nearing the end of the classical world by Robert Lane Fox. Both Pliny's get a mention, learning so much. Yeah, well, he's pretty good. I wasn't too sure of his Alexander thing because I know I think he was the consultant on the Alexander film that they did, which kind of put me off that. But I do think the classical world is pretty good.
Yeah,
Alan. Sorry, go on.
No, I've not read Robin Lane. Well, I don't think so. I know he's got a big reputation.
Yeah. Omnipotent Pooh-Bah. Pangloss is a parody of Leibniz. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm on a real French kick, I have to say, because I'm reading as well a book by Graham Robb, who Sean, is the author of the biography of Victor Hugo and Balzac and others. But he's written a book called Parisians, and I'm reading that, and that's really entertaining. It's a series of yeah, there you go. Well, then
that's a different. This is Colin Jones.
yeah.
That was supposed, because they sent me a damaged copy of something, and they said they'd send something else, and it's supposed to be a hardcover.
Looks like a hardcover. But Parisians is quite good. I'm enjoying it. I know it gets mixed reviews on Goodreads, but that's not everything. But he has a chapter on a guy called what's his name? Vincock, the police guy.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. That I actually was able to download his. I think it was Project Gutenberg. Download the 4 volumes of his memoirs, because he's
that's where in Edgar Allan Poe's Rue Morgue.
They say he's well, apparently he's both Valjean and Javert are based on him in part. Also Lupin, not Lupin. What's his name in Rue Morgue? Augustine.
Oh yeah,
Lupin.
Yeah, Lupin is Lupin, isn't it? Yeah.
I can't remember now. And then there's a couple of characters in Balzac as well, and others but he was incredible because he was a criminal turned criminologist, and he was the first head of the Sûreté, which I can never take seriously because I always think of Clouseau when he goes, "I have Inspector Clouseau of the Sûreté." It's like, but it's wonderful. It's really wonderful, wonderfully interesting.
I've got that one you mentioned. I can't reach it here. That is about writing of Les Miserables.
I've got it here. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
What is it? Novel of the century.
Yeah. I'm gonna read that out, hopefully sometime this month. But there's about 2 or 3 other ones too that people have written, which could be interesting.
Well, I can imagine there would be a lot of scholarship and stuff attached to Les Mis for sure. So yeah. What have we got here? Omnitum Pooh says, are you going to be doing Flaubert as well? We're sure making you do Proust instead. No, I am doing we are. Are you joining me on that one? I think you're joining me for most of them, aren't you?
Yeah,
all of them. Okay, yeah. So we are doing Madame Bovary, which I always think is hard in Czech because they always put over on the end of the name. So the book in Czech is Madame Bovaryova. So yeah, we are doing that. And honestly, I don't have a burning desire. Yes. And I'm even more intrigued now after reading about the Inspector Vindok, because again, he's pretty much referenced or used as a character there. What was I saying? No, gone blank. Bovaryova.
Flaubert. Well, you do.
I'm not. That's it. I'm not too interested. Maybe wrongly. I don't know. I don't have a burning desire to read Proust. Not yet. Anyway, I don't know.
I've got to reread that at some point. Yeah, but what else? Well, we're doing Lost Illusions this month as well by Balzac.
Well, hopefully this month. I mean, if not, it might be March. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Well, because I wasn't sure, like, because it wasn't mentioned in the video, and then you're saying like the last week of February, but I know I won't be able to read a 600-page book in a week and still finish everything else. So for me, I haven't, I can read it probably in tandem with Mysteries of Paris, for example. I can manage that, but I think I would struggle. So we'll see. We'll work it out, because I don't think any of us have our copy yet. So
no, you've not read Balzac, have you?
No, he's new for me. Well, I've read the first, I don't know, maybe 60 pages of Lost Illusions until you said, "Stop! I want to read it with you." But
But
I was
yeah,
reading on ebook, by the way. So
yeah. So, well, yeah, you're. I'll apologize now. Well, he's written like 100 books pretty well, so
yeah, but have they all been translated?
Yes, they have.
Okay, wonderful, superb.
So that's the problem. You've got Balzac, which is fabulous. You got Zola, which I like, which I'm reading his Rougon Macquarie series. Like I'm gonna do one a month, but there's 20 of them, and I think I want to try to finish them this year. So, but anyway, so he's written about 40 books. Not so bad. Victor Hugo is not so bad. You could probably do his catalog pretty easily.
He's only got about 10, like actual novels.
But and then there's
well, if they're all 1,500 pages or more, then
yeah. Well, no, most of them aren't. You got Flaubert. Flaubert is fabulous. Everything that he's done. Stendhal, like I don't know. Like I'm gonna try the Charterhouse of Parma, which I haven't read. I could not stand Red and the Black, but that might be worth rereading.
Maybe it's the translation as well. Yeah.
Well, yes and no, because it's just too sustained. Like I don't mind like over heightened love scenes and stuff like that, or in stuff if they're brief and you move on to other stuff. But if they're sustained on and on and on, I can't stand them.
There was one Balzac I was particularly interested in.
Wild Ass's Skin?
No, I was reading the synopsis and I almost purchased it, but I said, no, Mark, you've done too much at the moment. Eugenie Grandet.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it's short. It's under 300 pages, so I thought, hey, that sounds good.
I've tried to get all of them together here now. I don't have them all yet. The Black Sheep.
Yeah,
it's a good one. Oh my God, how did that get in there? Ugh. The Wild Ass's Skin.
Nice.
It's sort of a fantasy.
But it doesn't matter, does it, what order you read Balzac in?
I would love to read them in the order that they're meant to be, but no, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, because they're standalones. Because you've got like Cousin Betty. That's a longer one. And then you've got Cousin Pawns, which are companions. There's Eugenie Grandet.
Uh-huh.
And then what else here? Oh, Ursula. This one I haven't actually read.
Uh-huh.
Ursula.
But you see, it's interesting that you've got them all mixed editions, so no one publisher does all of them.
I don't think so pretty well. But this was at a time where when I was buying these, well, this was 2020, and I was getting tired of the penguins. Like I bought a bunch of penguins, but then I started buying the Oxford World Classics.
Yeah.
And I was still working. But yeah, there's another one that's good, is A Harlot High and Low. That's a good one. I do have, I think I've got some of these in mass market paperbacks. Because after I bought a bunch of these, I went to my local bookshop and he had a whole bunch of Black Spine Penguins, but I can't find those now. I don't know where they are, so I might have duplicates of some of these.
Beauvrier sounds like a cricket move. I suppose it does. Therese Raquin 2, hopefully. I guess it's Flaubert. Zola.
Yeah. I will be reading that. It's not part of the Rougon Macrat series, but I'll be reading it short.
Alan's totally ignorant, regarding Balzac. Don't tell Brian from Bookish. Don't worry, we won't. Don't know what Elvis is up to. So yeah, I guess my last book that I have been reading this week, last 2 days, but I've made quite a lot of progress because it's a fast read, is called what? It's either called The Wicked Boy or A Wicked Boy by Kate Summerscale, I think, if that's her name. And you said the name was familiar to you, Sean, when we talked about it. And I think it's because she wrote that book that was everywhere at that time, The Suspicious Mr. Witcher, or The Suspicions
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
So she wrote that, I think. So
that was good. That was good.
Well, so far this is very good. I mean, it's a true crime. It's part of the Black Hearts Book Club run by Carrie from Very Literary Carrie. I am the co-host for this month's read, which I did, of course, a good job by actually talking about it on my video, which I didn't because I forgot. So much.
I wish I knew that. Like, I'd like to read that one, but I think I'm doing next month. Is it?
Yeah, it's Maltese Falcon. Is it maybe, or is it a secret? Oops, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's a secret, but yeah, it's not anymore. If it was,
no, it's not anymore. Well, at least to the 14 people watching, it isn't. But no, that would be good. But this one, yeah, it's good. I mean, she obviously puts in a lot of research, and it reads. It's very fast paced. It's pretty grim. I mean, it's literally these two boys whose father's gone off to sea because he works for one of the transatlantic liners, but not a passenger ship. It's a ship that moves livestock or goods, I suppose. And they murder their mother and lock the body away in the upstairs in her bedroom. And they pretend that she's gone to visit her sister or aunt or whatever up in Liverpool. And then they get this kind of weird man who's somehow, somehow a former colleague of their father's, to come and stay with them for a bit and pawn stuff on their behalf, and all this. And it's a very hot summer, and of course you can imagine the body starts smelling, and it brings over the attention of people, and then they all get arrested, including this guy. And I'm only at the part now where they're kind of just trying to sort things out, and there's a bit of a court case going on. But it's very intriguing because the book opens with a very short prologue, about half a page or something, where it talks about this boy turning up at a police station in the outback in Australia with these injuries. And the date on it's like 1930. Well, this murder and everything takes place in like 1895. So it can't be the same boys related to it, right? Because they would be, at least in their 50s by then, or 40s at least. So then it kind of drags you in straight away because you're wondering now what on earth is what does the prologue have to do with it? But it's a very grim book, as you would expect, but very well written. And I'm enjoying it. We read The Five before Christmas last year about the 5 women murdered by Jack the Ripper, and I guess it has vibes of that. But of course, in this case, the actual murderers are children, so it's weird.
Well, something that I should mention to Carrie, because it should read Judith Flanders. I had to get the name here. That's why I was looking at my phone. The Invention of Murder: How the Victorians Reveled in the Death and Detection and Created Modern Crime. It is a fabulous book.
I can imagine, and I think that would be very interesting. And the reason why I'm so quick to jump on there is because part of this the older of the two boys, I can't remember now if he's Robert or Richard Coombs, he's obsessed with reading, and he's obsessed with reading these so-called penny dreadfuls, and he becomes obsessed with murder to the point where there's this murder that's carried out not far from where he lives, and this guy gets arrested for it, and he plays truant from school, and he travels down to wherever the arrest took place for the arraignment. He walks 25 miles just to catch a glimpse of this killer and stuff, right? But what's really interesting to me as well is throughout at least the first part of the book, she's referencing all the books that he read. So I guess that obviously he was either interviewed or people knew, and she gives the titles and whatever of all these Penny Dreadful stories or these kind of adventure stories and everything he reads, and some of them sound actually pretty good. I have to say, I kind of want to check them out myself, you know. But it's interesting, you know, because they're working class, they're a working class family, a bit maybe more comfortably off than most, I would say. But it's also interesting to see a working class depiction that isn't, although it's got a brutal murder in it, but they're not living in abject poverty. Yeah, they do have some nice clothes. They do have their own house that they are renting. They don't own it, but it's very interesting. She's done a really good job. And yes, I if you like that kind of thing, I would recommend it. It is indeed very interesting. So makes me want to check out the other one, which I haven't read, the Mr. Witcher one.
Yeah, that one is really good. There was a good film done by it too.
Okay. That's saying something if you're saying it's a good film. So,
but yeah, no, I'm gonna have to, because I want to reread this Judith Flanders one, so that might be a good excuse. Get Carrie to add that to her list somewhere, because that goes into the Penny Dreadfuls as well. It is a fabulous history. Lucy Wars did a
Flanders.
Yeah, Judith Flanders. And it's called The Invention of Murder. But Lucy Worsley did a sort of knockoff one that isn't near as good.
Yeah, I'm never sure about Lucy Worsley. I mean, if you're watching Lucy, I apologize. I'm sure you're probably not, but I don't know. I just find her quite difficult to watch. It's not her fault. You know, she's got a bit of a speech problem, hasn't she? And I find it a little bit disturbing. I think she has that. I don't know, what's the name of the condition where you can't pronounce your R's? You know, like Jonathan Wass.
Yeah. I
She's
don't
the
know.
same. And I remember, you know, and as I say, of course, it's not her fault, but I guess, as shallow as the next person, or a little bit like Seinfeld. And sometimes these things, I just catch them and they stay with me and they bother me. And I remember she did a documentary on the Romanovs, and I just couldn't take it seriously because the whole time it was the Womanovs doing this and this, and it's like Montgomery. He couldn't do it either. You know, we'll soon have Wommel on the one. You know, and this kind of stuff. It just kind of, I don't know. I don't mean to be mean. I'm sure that if there are people out there who speak to them, so I'm not being mean. It's just hard.
Apparently, that's part of there's all sorts of sites, not sites, but there's people talking about it because they find that really sexy about her.
I don't know. I mean, I just, yeah, I don't know.
No, I like her stuff, but it's just it seems that everything she does is sort of like a watered down version of somebody else's.
Well, yeah, but she's you know, popular TV historian, right? Yeah. She's appealing to the lowest common, you know.
But she's got good credentials. That's the thing as well. She's got really good credentials. I've seen her talk a few times. I've got most of her books signed. What's this here? I got the Flanders book.
She's going to have to read it after she's done with the first round of the BookTube Prize judging, I guess, or reading. So,
no, it's a fabulous book because it just, Judith Flanders is a really good writer. She's really, really good. She does some mysteries too. She does. I don't know if it's a pseudonym she uses, but she does a mystery series also.
It's just so expensive, this hobby.
Well, I bought this for £1.99.
Oh, I know, yeah, but I haven't got the same options as you.
I know, but because it was at a Works years ago, and I didn't know what this was, and I picked up and go, oh, that sounds really cool. How much is it? £1.99? Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, the Works used to be good. I don't know if they're still around, are they?
No, they were last time I was out, which is 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. But yeah, they like half of their stuff isn't books anymore.
I did get a few books today. I'm not going to go through them all, but I will mention a couple of them because I'll probably do a haul video, I suppose, at some point. But I just shout out my favorite publisher at the moment because they were so nice. I have to say, honestly, Sean, they were really nice. Like this email exchange with them, and because they don't deliver abroad generally, because you see, I knew I was going to offend somebody. Yeah, but if it's not your first language, then it's all right. Except you have gone for a difficult channel name there, though. Sorry, I'm only kidding. She says she can't pronounce her R's either in English. So, yeah. Oh no! Believe me, there are loads of English people can't do it. Usually upper class ones. Well, although I wouldn't say Jonathan Ross was particularly upper class, but yeah. I really got into this Alma Classics things, and it's actually Sean's fault, I think.
Why is it my fault?
I can't remember.
I showed you Jerome K. Jerome.
That was it. Yeah, Jerome K. Jerome's Ghost Stories, After Supper Ghost Stories. That's right. I thought, that's lovely. And then I realized I actually did own a couple of them, but I wasn't like, I didn't know about it really. I had Beowulf already, which was one of theirs. And I think my Saki that I've got was theirs. And I've had this for a while, but I never thought about them. And then when I started looking in them and stuff, I think they just published some interesting stuff. So I was, they don't deliver abroad. They used to, but then of course, something happened a few years ago, which made it more difficult to deliver things to the continent from the UK.
They don't. Wait a minute. They don't deliver abroad, but they'll deliver a man.
No, they used to have it so that I do get you. The problem was people were ordering like one book and they were sending it abroad. It's fine. And they were using, of course, the Royal Mail, but the Royal Mail is so unreliable these days. So it's not worth it. If you want to order from them to have it sent abroad, they advise obviously ordering at least 5-6 books, which I can understand because, of course, they sell it, but you then have to pay for the courier, which wasn't too bad. And, I got it door to door within a week. But it all started because I was looking at, I can't remember what I was looking for. I was looking for something on Book Depository, but it had sold out. And I thought, well, I'll try the publisher. And then I came across this Arthur Conan Doyle collection. So there was like 6 books, I think, 7 books, maybe. I can't remember. By Arthur Conan Doyle. This is one of them. And I thought, that's great. And they were selling it for all 6 books for £20, £25. I can't remember. And I thought, oh, that's really good. So I ordered them to have them sent to my parents' address in England. And then afterwards, I remember thinking, well, they said if you order, 5 or 6 books, they can send abroad. So I sent an email and said, would you mind changing it? And they said, sure, no problem. So I did. And then they said, the cost is the same. Even if you want to add a couple more books, would you like to? And I said, sure. And one of them was one we talked about, Sean, which was the 1001 Ghosts. I don't know if you got around to getting it. You were mentioning you might.
I don't have enough money.
I didn't realize it's not a novel per se. It's the main character in it is Alexandre Dumas.
Ah. Okay.
It says, coming back into town after a hunting expedition, Alexandre Dumas witnesses an incredible scene. A man has come to hand himself in to the mayor after decapitating his wife. Terrified by the fact that her severed head spoke to him even after her death. This prompts the guests at a dinner Dumas attends later that evening to exchange stories of death and the supernatural, ranging from accounts of the guillotine during the Terror to the tales of vampires, fratricide in the Carpathians. So I thought, yeah, that seemed pretty good. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. Yeah.
Is it written by Dumas though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Written by Dumas, Alexandre Dumas. It's one of his. 1001 Ghosts, here presented in its first and only translation into English, is a gloriously macabre work by the celebrated author of The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo, which also touches on the serious political issue of capital punishments that fits in with our man Hugo. It should be interesting.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
that's why I've never heard of it or read it, because if it's never been in English.
it's never been in English before. And then the other one I thought I mentioned is one I'm sure you probably would have read, or at least you would have read some of his works, is the Jacobs one, W.W. Jacobs, The Grey Parrot. Although I don't know why he's the gold parrot rather than the grey one there on the thing. But I don't know too much about him. A couple of the stories did jump out at me. One of them being, of course, The Monkey Paw, which is quite a famous story, isn't it?
Yeah, I've read some of his. I read that one. Just I've never had a collection of his stuff, I don't think.
Yeah,
Just
well, that's it. I never, never really seen it around.
other than just in other anthologies of short stories.
W.W. Jacobs delighted in finding unlikely humor in everyday situations and observations, and these tales succeed in raising a laugh from the most mundane of scenarios. In The Grey Parrot, a sailor buys a parrot for his wife, whom he suspects isn't faithful in his absence, hoping the bird will inadvertently repeat anything untoward it hears. Unfortunately for him, the parrot exceeds his expectations, and it's not only his wife who is left blushing. Well, that sounds like it would be fun. This volume contains a careful selection of the very best stories from Jacobs' 150-strong repertory, and includes well-known standalone pieces such as The Monkey's Paw, as well as accounts of raucous dockside dalliances and tightly woven tales of poacher Bob Petty's crimes against the unlikely cast of an Essex village. Showcasing a unique assortment of stories spanning his writing career, this edition hopes to shine a light on a hugely talented writer who inspired many of the literary giants we now consider masters of the genre. So, here we go. Interesting. So, yeah, but they seem to me great, and I like these, smaller, companies. It makes me happy that, and I like the fact that they sent me their catalog. I don't know why they sent the 22 one. Maybe they ran out of 23 ones, but I guess everything they've got in here, they've just got some extra ones for 23. And they just had interesting stuff, stuff you don't normally, see around, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, I want to get the Victor Hugo one that you got, the Condemned Man or whatever.
I haven't got it yet, so because it was one I'd ordered from Book Depository, whereas of course I'd done that when I found out I couldn't get this other one. So then I went to the publisher, but I already ordered the other one. So I'm probably waiting a year for this one if they're relying on the Royal Mail. So,
well, at least now the next you just wait to make your next order directly from them.
Well, that's it, and they were. I mean, it's like a standard email address, like an info at whatever it is, but it's, I guess, I don't know if it's a man or a woman, so I shouldn't probably say man because they've got one of these names, which could be either, I suppose. And whoever they are, was just really good. Quick responses, very, very helpful. So all I had to do to get it done internationally was just send them, the links to the books I wanted. They just created the order for me. Then when they didn't have something else I wanted in stock, they just swapped it out. It was really actually a very good experience and very personable, and I liked that. So,
Yeah, they got quite a bit of stuff, but yeah, it's just I'll have to see. There's probably enough to get. I think what do they got? You can buy 6 or something. Things are usually my fault. Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, one thing I would say about them is, they're not particularly pricey. The quality, I know if you haven't got the money anyway, you haven't got it. But what I'm saying is generally, it's I would say they're good value for money. They're nice quality, and the prices are good. And if you order directly from them, there can be quite a big difference. I mean, it was like 40% off or something on the Conan Doyle collection. Whereas if I bought them on Book Depository, I would have paid 40% more than I did. So, it's pretty good. Anyway, advertisement over for now until I do my Alma Classics book haul. Alan says, yeah, I think it does look interesting. Yeah. And I like that. I wish more companies would take a chance, or at least I wish some of these bigger companies like Penguin or something would run a smaller, company that specialized in bringing to us, literary lovers or whatever, the things that haven't been translated before. A side of their business that maybe isn't run entirely for profit, just to actually get, some interesting, quirky works out there. So yeah.
Well, there'd be a lot of Verne they could do,
Yeah,
so much.
there'd be tons of it, and there'd be people definitely wanting to get it. I mean, one of the big draws for me is, and I think you'll agree, is just like the cover designs on these things.
Yeah, they are
They're really nice.
Well made. They're well made as well.
Very well made. Yeah.
For paperbacks.
Yeah. Very well made, I think. Yeah, I mean, they've got, I haven't read it, but there's another one of the Doyle ones there, Tales of Long Ago. And then the guy who wrote Little Prince, is it? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, The Night Flight. I mean, it's a little book, but it's kind of a cool cover, the old 1920s poster style or whatever. So,
well, that's like the it's different publisher, but it's, let me see if I can find it here. The John Buchan series.
I was surprised to see Michael held up 39 Steps. Was it the same version? I think.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was. But yeah, this is Polygon Books.
Yeah, it's the same. That's what Michael held up, because I remembered the authorized version or whatever at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. They look like what's it, posters, don't they? The old travel posters from the 1930s.
And they're not shiny or anything. They're buff, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get more. I know there's a Remainder place that has a couple sets of them that they still have left they're about £3 each, I think. But yeah, I have to see, because I'd like to read more of him. Or reread some of the stuff like the John Hannay and My Namesake, book as well. So
Richard Hannay, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, but his nom de plume as a spy.
You didn't mention my new background, Sean. I don't know if you noticed.
Background.
It's a massive tree in my.
No.
Huh?
Where did that come from?
Well, bizarrely, it belongs to my neighbors. They put it out on the landing, and then there was like a note downstairs on the notice board saying, "We don't want it anymore. If anyone wants it, please take it." And I'm like, well, I don't know if I want it, because it's taller than me. It might not look it, but it's actually taller than me. I have very high ceilings, which is fine, but I don't have very high doors. So it was a pain to get in here. But I mentioned it to a friend of mine as we were going out last night. And she said, "Oh, I want it then." And then I sent her a picture this morning. She's like, "Yeah, quick, grab it." So of course I grabbed it, and I'll probably have to hang on to it for a while. But I think I kind of like it. I'm just waiting for Elvis to decide to cock his leg up against it and take a pee or something.
What kind of tree is it? What is it? I
don't know. It's I don't know what the English name is. It's one of those, I don't know, like is it banana trees that have those, like, it's almost like interlocking sections.
Oh.
It's like that. So that's what it is, really, like that. But it's not, I don't know, it's got a name, but the Czech name is very complicated. I don't know if any botanists out there can tell me if it's the same in English or not, but no. Diffnibachii in Czech. I don't know what that is. So, oh, hang on, we've got loads of comments. I don't know why they just not appeared. So, hang on. A parrot joke. A woman goes to pet store, sees the parrot for sale. The shopkeeper warns her it was found in a brothel and it's got bad language, but this doesn't deter her. And she buys the parrot. She takes it home, puts it in the living room. The parrot looks around and says, "New place, very nice." Then the woman's 20-year-old daughter and her friends take a look at the parrot, which says, "New girl's very nice." And the woman's husband comes home and the parrot says, "Hello, Fred." Brilliant. Love it. Love it. Hi, guys. Hope the chat is good. My year has got off to a slow start, but we'll hopefully pick up. Yeah, I hope it does, Andrew. Are you actually reading anything at the moment? Love the new palm tree mug. Thank you. Although it is probably a temporary resident. But I am, yeah, I've only had it a few hours, but I'm quite liking it. Yuka. Okay. Or Yuka. The name is Diefenbacher. Yeah. Okay. That sounds close. Does it need
Yucca tree?
Does it need any special care? I mean, I did water it when I brought it in, and it's quite warm in here with the heating on and stuff at the moment. I mean, I don't know. I have to look it up. Yeah, actually, I will look it up. So, Elvis. I won't look it up now, but if I don't write the name down, I won't remember. So, yeah. So what have we got here? Don't water it too much. Okay. No, I won't then. Apparently easy plants. Okay, good. Well, that's nice. So we'll see. Hopefully.
Tell Elvis not to water it.
Yeah, don't water it too much, Elvis.
What is it? In a big pot? I guess it's in a huge pot, or
not that. I mean, it isn't massive. It's surprisingly. I don't know if you can see. It's not. That's just what it's in at the moment. It doesn't look that big. Yeah. But you know, but if I stand, I mean, I'm 6 foot. And if I stand by it, you can see it is, you know, still taller than me. So luckily, I've got very high ceilings, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Welcome to Garden Tube, Plant Tube with me, Mark, and what's horticultural tube? No, I don't know. Botany tube. Yeah, botany tube, maybe. Anyway, I love that joke, Aaron. That's great. That is a good one. So, yeah, I don't know. Should we call it an evening, Sean? You look a bit tired, mate. Or have you got a few minutes?
I'm always tired these days because I can't lay down because of the breathing so much. So, get about an hour, and then I got to get up.
You got to get up in an hour?
Well, no, I can't breathe because laying down causes the breathing difficulty. So I can only do an hour, and then I have to get up.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think the soil's okay. Just the color in it is just a couple of, I guess, dead leaves that have fallen in it that I haven't picked out yet. But as I say, I only brought it in like 3 hours ago. So Chris Beveridge asks if you can smoke it. Well, I'll let you know. So yeah, it is pretty big, but we'll see how it goes. So, and yeah, I think you're right there. The container probably should be bigger, but I don't know how long it's staying. It is literally a house guest at the moment. So unless my friend decides, unless I grow attached to it, or she decides exactly when she can take it off my hands. So, but you know, it wasn't bad for a freebie, at least. So.
But you don't know why they didn't.
No, I was wondering that, whether it's like got an infestation or something, and I'm going to end up like, you know.
Well, maybe you just brought it in, so in the morning, check to see if it's in the same spot or has it moved.
That's right. It might be some kind of triffid type thing. That's right. Yeah, you have to be careful. Like a Trojan triffid left outside the door. What's this? All right, bring it in. But I just kind of felt bad because it's like winter out, and I have a feeling if I didn't take it, I'm pretty sure probably would just be dumped. And I don't, you know, I know it's still a living thing, right? And I feel bad about it. So I thought, well, I'll give it a home for now. So. Okay, well, I guess Sean and I are off to bed soon, probably. Not together, but in our separate beds. Well, or at least in our separate chairs.
Yeah, most of the night.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not sleeping in this chair with that behind me after what you just said. So, so yeah. Wonderful, everybody. Thank you. Sorry?
Hopefully read a bit more of George Passant. If I could read another 100 pages tonight, which is too optimistic, I think. But
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna read a little bit of The Wicked Boy, I think, because it's one of those. I'm pretty sure I think I could finish it this weekend. I mean, it's not a huge book, but it's very, very readable. So, okay, thank you very much, everybody. Wonderful of you to join us, and we'll be back next week, I'm sure, on Sean's channel. So until then, happy reading.
And Mark will talk about Les Miserables again.
Well, I might do, but hopefully in the vein that I finished it. And then you never have to hear about it from me ever again until I reread it next year. All right. Have a great reading week, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.